welcome you to Ventura Ventures Technology Center. We have a great evening planned, and I think we're going to start it off with actually the pudding. You know, they say the proof is in the pudding. We're actually going to start with one of the companies that's in here, Matthew Gratchik of Koopies, and he's going to tell you a little bit about entrepreneurship. And I think you're going to get a little bit better flavor of what Ventura Ventures Technology Center is all about. So, with that, I will introduce Matthew Gratchik.
Hello, hello. I brought notes to help me be interesting. My name is Matthew Gratchik. As Joey said, I run one of the companies here in the incubator. The company is called Koopies, which is an online deals platform. It's basically a way for people to get coupons, discounts, promotions, that kind of thing on demand on your cell phone and on your computer. And what I'm here to talk to you tonight about is entrepreneurship. So I think it makes sense for me to tell you a little bit about my experience as an entrepreneur. But before I do that, by show of hands, how many people here are currently an entrepreneur? You consider yourself an entrepreneur? Now, I don't just mean you're unemployed. I mean, you're really an entrepreneur. Okay. And how many are aspiring and entrepreneurial insanity people that are going to make the plunge into entrepreneurial insanity? Because if you are planning on being an entrepreneur, that's basically that's what you're getting into. How many people want to be an entrepreneur that aren't doing that? Maybe thinking about leaving your job. Janet?
Side ideas.
Okay. So, as I said, my name is Matthew Gratchik, and I basically started my first company here in Ventura when I was 14 years old, and since then I've started 16 other companies, all of them outside of Ventura, and then the 16th or my 17th company is Koopies, and that's back here in Ventura. And over that time, I've been fortunate to be able to have 6 public company exits, which means I've either sold a business to a public company or taken a company public or something like that. So I've learned something about being an entrepreneur, and I've talked in the past about entrepreneurship, and so I do have some notes because the feedback that I've gotten from giving these kinds of talks is that people really don't just want to gloss over and talk about entrepreneurship, but they really want to do is know, like, give me some real lessons, something you learn. Give me something tangible that I can go and work with. So I've got my best advice right here, and in fact, I brought a prop. My banana. So everything.
That was a different class, and it was when I was 13.
You are the 4th person who have told me that, like in the last hour. So you're not gonna. Let me just unwrap this. No, I'm not going to do that. But I am going to talk about this banana. Now, everything you need to know about being a successful entrepreneur can be illustrated with this banana. Okay, maybe not everything, but certainly 2 of the key lessons that I've learned as an entrepreneur can be illustrated by a banana. How do you open a banana? How would you open a banana? Does everybody know how to open a banana?
Yes.
Put this down for a second. So what you do, right? I meant to do that. So you take, right? You go in here, you stick your thumbnail in there, you bend it around. Maybe you take a knife and open it up. That's the way most people open a banana, right?
No.
Right. Some of you have learned the lesson. Okay. Have you ever opened the banana from the other end?
Yes, and Ed does all the time.
Okay, so, well, apparently you're all a lot smarter than I was, because when I discovered this, it's so easy to do. You just pinch it at the top, it comes off easy, you get the little yucky thing off of there really easy. Now, so the 2 lessons for me that I learned from that, and I just learned that about 6 months ago, and for me it was like a metaphor for, that really works for entrepreneurship. And the 2 lessons that I learned were, number 1, how long have we been opening bananas as human beings? Hundreds, thousands of years? Most people do it. I'm from the East Coast, so maybe that's my problem. But most people grab it from this end. So no matter how long you've been doing something over and over, there's always opportunity for innovation. If we look at the great companies today, they're often not, tremendous leaps of innovation, but they're better ways of doing something that we're already doing. If you look at Facebook, for example, look, before Facebook, there was Friendster. Before Friendster, there was MySpace, and they all owned the market. Google itself came out at a time, if you remember, in the mid to late 90s, when Inktomi owned the search market, and there was no business model for search. It was a cost center that you did. The business was all about having a portal. Yahoo was a portal. We need to have search, but that's not how we make money. Well, Google does $30 billion a year, and at 46 cents at a time. So there's always this incredible opportunity for innovation. So even though you've done something one way over and over, and I don't mean that you necessarily, just industry and so on, there's always opportunity for innovation. The other thing I learned is that the way I learned to open a banana was I was watching something on TV on one of these history channels, and I saw primates opening bananas, gorillas and chimpanzees. I forget what the show was, but I was like, why are they doing it from that end? And I thought, that really makes sense. It's so easy to do. And I tried it myself, and sure enough, it was much better. So that other lesson for me was, you know, you're a focus group of one. Just because you have an idea, that's not the best idea. Look around, see how people, sort of Darwinian for me. If you've got, watch somebody doing something or an industry doing something and see what comes natural to that and embrace that. So those are my two metaphors for the banana. The next thing I want to talk about is failure. Okay, if you're an entrepreneur, any serial entrepreneur who's a veteran, who's being honest with you, they'll tell you that they learn at least as much from failure as you do from success. Okay, that's always the truth. So you need to embrace failure. If you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough. You're not being different. Go back to the banana. We got to do something different in order to be better. Hire failure, people with failure experience, right? Quote unquote failure experience. So don't be afraid of that. If you're managing people, don't punish them for failure. I mean, you don't want total failure all the time, but you want to embrace that innovation and people doing new things in a different way. The next thing I would say, if we're here talking about entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship, we're not talking about starting at dry cleaners and making $1 million a year that has $100,000 of profit. You don't want to get into business to basically buy a job. You can go make that money working for somebody else. So if you want to be an entrepreneur like we're talking about, you need to go after big things. Typically, you're going to have to do it with other people's money. You're going to need to raise money from venture capitalists, from private equity, from institutional investors. And they require huge returns, at least a 10x. Because of all the investments, 7 of them are going to fail, but the one has to make up for all the others, and then the other 2 are like singles. So you got to go for big markets, big problems, make big changes into a market. So don't think small. Sometimes entrepreneurs will pitch in front of venture capitalists, and they'll try to present a conservative view or vision that can be accomplished. But venture capitalists are always telling me over and over, they don't like that. They want to see entrepreneurs that have huge visions, because you can always scale back. You can say, look, I'm going to go do all this stuff, and then you do a little bit less and so on. But it's a lot easier to do that, to pull yourself in, than it is for you to start here and then go a little bit further, because that's not how great the companies are built. And they're all looking for that great company. The next thing I would talk about is entrepreneurial stamina versus sort of irrational exuberance. I've talked to entrepreneurs that have worked for years, sometimes decades, on an idea, and they'll say, gee, it's got to work because I've spent so much time, I've spent so much money doing on this. I can't abandon it now. So you want to have the stamina, but you want to be realistic. Don't be afraid to walk away. I can't think of a single successful company today that's a truly innovative company that finished up doing what they started out doing. You always change. You have to adapt. You don't want to be flaky, but you want to listen to the market, listen to all the smart people around you, and watch and adapt. And that's very important too. Another thing, when you're trying to persuade people, or you want to disagree with them and persuade them, the most important thing is listening. Okay, instead of talking. You learn a lot more about what their approach is so that you can address it. And then there's this great saying, and I'll have to look at it to remind myself. So it's felt, found, and feel. This is a way to change somebody's opinion. Felt, found, and feel. And what you're saying is, oh, I hear what you're saying. I used to feel that way. I felt that way. And what I found was this, and now I feel this way. So you're not telling them you're wrong. You're saying, look, I was there too, and this is why I have my view now. And so that's another interesting thing. Also, surround yourself with the best. Investors and others and partners, they love to see entrepreneurs that have enough self-confidence where they're not afraid to surround themselves with people that are better than them in all of the things that needs to be happening at a company. You need to hire somebody who runs marketing who's better than you in marketing, operation, finance, sales, business development, corporate development, all these other different things. So don't be afraid to hire up, even if you can find a better CEO. I've never been afraid of that. I mean, I got most of the stock in the company. If somebody can do it better than I can, let them run the show. So I think that's very important. And investors love to see that you're coachable in that way.